Schade, dass ich keine Dolche benutze. Jetzt hätten wir jetzt wie Waffe gehabt. Ich brauche eigentlich eine Zweihandwaffe, eine neue. Zum Beispiel das hier. Ich will das nicht rausnehmen, das Schwert. Ja, geil ist. Schlüssel für den Keller des Askelon-Clubs. Crafting Mats. Huch.
Good evening. We repel the intruders for now.
My good friends, if I may have your attention. Behold our visitor, the good Dr. Reed. Newborn of blood so pure and strong that even my friend Fergal Bansher was no match for him.
Here, here, here!
Come forward, young Ekon, for we have so much to discuss. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. I am Lord Redgrave, Earl of Bristol and chairman of this exclusive association.
Lord Redgrave.
At last we meet. I've been eager to make your acquaintance. I've heard some astounding things about you. Please accept my condolences for your loss, Dr. Reed.
Thank you, my lord. Lady Ashbury expressed your wish to meet me.
Yes. The lady has always been a useful acquaintance, though not always reliable. Is she a good friend of yours?
Ich bewundere sie, sie ist eine gute Freundin, sie ist mir von Nutzen gewesen.
She's a close friend, and I'm honored that she feels the same about me.
The centuries have taught me never to trust a woman completely, especially if she is a mortal. Too prone to emotions, if you ask me. Too fickle when it comes to important decisions.
My lord, do not expect me to speak ill of Lady Ashbury.
Of course not, and I praise your loyalty. Would you offer the same fidelity to the Empire?
What do you mean?
I speak of the Skull Plague that threatens London and the country. You have been on the front line in the East End, but the time has come to open up a second front here.
The epidemic has escaped the quarantine. You have new cases of the outbreak.
We don't know for certain, but we cannot allow the disease to threaten the prominent heads of Great Britain.
Why have you asked me here?
Because the crisis is escalating. Our enemies, the Garda Priwen, have even launched an open hunt. The only way to calm things down is to put an end to the epidemic.
You want me to find possible sources of the outbreak in the West End. Is that it?
Ah, straight to the point, like all eager newborns. We shall have time to talk about all this, Dr. Reed, but first, I should like to get to know you better.
Talk? Is that the only reason you asked me here?
Well, no. I also wanted to meet the intriguing Ekon who made such a powerful progeny of his sister. You have not learned the name of your maker, am I correct?
Jungen gehen Sie nichts an, sprechen Sie nicht über meine Familie.
No, I haven't.
Have no embarrassment, Dr. Reed. We all make mistakes. But whatever your lineage, you are definitely Ascalon material.
What do you mean?
I would like you to become a member of the Ascalon Club and to serve me as such.
Jetzt hast du einige Fragen.
Before I accept, I have so many questions.
Please ask.
Was bringt die Mitgliedschaft mit sich?
What does it mean to be a member of the Ascalon Club?
It means that you swear to protect the interests of the Crown, that you become a loyal servant of the British Empire.
Sind sie offiziell anerkannt?
Do
Wahrscheinlich
you
nicht.
have any official recognition from the government? A charter from His Majesty the King?
No. Of course, the Ascalon Club publicly supports the Empire, but the true nature of its members remains a secret.
Ich soll gehorchen?
Am I supposed to follow orders?
As founder and chairman of the club, I alone am entitled to make demands of our members, and I do appreciate obedience.
Was ist Sinn und Zweck des Clubs? Das wissen wir auch jetzt mittlerweile schon.
What is the Ascalon Club's express purpose?
We follow the credo of William Marshall, the greatest knight who ever lived. As was he, we are sworn to protect the British Empire.
Was bedeutet Ascalon?
What does Ascalon mean?
Ascalon was the lance wielded by St. George, glorious patron saint of England when he slew the dragon. And like that lance, we pierce the hearts of all our nation's enemies.
Bill Marshall hat den Club gegründet.
William Marshall founded the Ascalon Club.
Not exactly. William Marshall granted me immortality, and I founded the club a few years later. The good knight has been gone for so long.
Ich habe einen von ihnen getötet.
I killed Fergal, who claimed to be one of yours, sent to cleanse the East End of all Skulls. Will his death be an issue?
Do not worry. My priorities have changed. Fergal was a zealous servant of mine, but like any servant, he had his limitations and is readily replaced if necessary.
Bitte beitreten.
I agree to join the club.
This is good news. Good news indeed in these crucial times. Let's inform the Assembly formally and proceed with your initiation.
My initiation?
Fear not. Nothing fancy nor dangerous. It is just that we, the members of Ascalon, believe that tradition and custom are the backbone of this country.
Ob wir eine Wahl hätten, ne? Könnte nicht sagen,
My
Höhe.
fellow members, dear friends, please gather and welcome this Ekon as one of our own.
Is he worthy? Is his blood pure?
Well, speak, Dr. Reed, in front of the most sacred blood. The blood of our beloved William Marshall, speak now. Will you serve and protect the crown as he did?
Yes, I will.
Then, young Ekon, it is time to testify with your blood. It is time to sign the Book of Allegiance. I know it's awfully gothic and a tad pedantic, but England's traditions are the backbone of our nation. Delightful. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. Take your place among the bearers of the lance.
One of us! One of us!
Jetzt sind wir im Club beigetreten.
I personally went patrolling last night in the West End, and I spotted at least 2 foreign echoes. This is an outrage. We shall chase these intruders down.
I was chased by a gigantic falcon 2 nights ago. I thought it was Fergal coming back, but no. The creature barely spoke English.
Der alte Mann passt hier gar nicht rein, ne? Das ist anscheinend auch kein Vampir. Und es gibt ja auch Sterbliche hier, ne? Im Club. Bin ich alles Vampire. brauchen halt ihre Leute, die am Tag rumlaufen.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece? Figuratively.
Es ist ungewohnt, mir geht es gut, mir gefällt es nicht. Wo wohnt?
It's quite unsettling. As a doctor, I am more used to being the observer than the subject observed.
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested policy for choosing its initiates.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart, you draw quite a bit of attention yourself.
Ah, vampire senses never cease to fascinate me. They dwarf those of mere mortals. I am Aloysius Dawson, by the way.
Sie ist ein Mitglied des Clubs.
Are you a member of the club?
Yes, I am. And I have been for many years. And will be until the day I die.
Erzählen Sie mir vom Club.
What can you tell me about it?
It's not really my place to give you such information. I am merely a mortal member. And a dying one at that.
Ist sie krank?
Are you sick?
Personally, I consider my advancing years are a sickness in itself. My body is slowly abandoning me, Dr. Reed.
Keine Angst vor Vampiren.
Are you not afraid? You are surrounded by vampires.
Sir, it's for that very reason that I joined the club in the first place.
Ist dieser Club nicht geheim?
Is not the nature of this club a secret shared by only a privileged few?
My dear Dr. Reed, I have spent years and a fortune precisely to gather that kind of information.
Sie haben um Mitgliedschaft gebeten?
So you asked for membership?
I have been a member of many clubs in many countries. But I must admit, this one is my favorite.
Über Lord Redgrave.
What can you tell me about Lord Redgrave?
I would not dare speak of our chairman without his consent.
Sie sind berühmt.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson, the wealthiest man in England. It is a pleasure to meet such a prominent figure of London.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of immortality?
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in. To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
Über die Wachen von Priven.
What do you know about the Guard of Priwen?
I should not say this, but I admire their commitment. This is what the nation needs right now.
Wir sind unsere Feinde.
But they are our enemies.
They are not mine, Dr. Reed.
Würden Sie ihnen helfen?
Would you help them?
No. There is a time for such methods. But brute force will not be enough to fight this plague. We have to think differently.
Lage im Westend.
What is the situation like in this part of town?
I am sure Lord Redgrave will enlighten you more effectively than I.
Geld löst nicht jedes Problem.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy.
You're right. Money is nothing unless one has the will to wield it. I have a plan, sir. A radical one that will save all that is essential in London.
What is your plan, then?
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable, unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
Es ist ungerecht, es ist gefährlich, es ist effizient.
By doing so, you would create two separate ghettos. What if the disease gets past the wall? The results would be disastrous.
Not if we eliminate all suspected cases of infection as soon as they appear. A necessary sacrifice.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary execution?
Why do you care? Are you not a vampire? Removed from all mortal concerns? Decisiveness is what the city needs, and it needs it now.
Ah ja. Über den können wir nicht reden.
That went well, did it not? It is always useful to bolster the troops' morale, especially before a difficult battle.
You have the makings of a general, my lord.
I was, though very long ago, well, not quite a general, but a proud defender of the crown.
So why did you really want to meet me?
Straight to the point again, young Ekon. All right, let's talk, you and I, Lance Sparrow.
I'm listening, my lord.
According to my spies, you have worked with Dr. Edgar Swansea on the epidemic, and your findings were quite alarming.
Sie kennen etwa Swansea?
Do you know Edgar Swansea?
Not personally, but I've been told he has some sort of immortal fetish and is a good friend of yours.
Does it bother you that I consider him my good friend?
As long as you reveal nothing of the club's inner workings, why should I forbid you engaging in conversation with the good Dr. Swansea?
Sie haben mich ausspioniert.
You were spying on me.
Not personally. I rarely leave this building. But once he found you, Fergal kept me informed. Until you put an end to his mission.
Wer war Fergal?
Who was Fergal? I don't see him sipping tea with the others in the club.
Fergal Banshire was my squire of sorts. Even before becoming that magnificent beast, he was a brute. He served me well for decades.
No, I mean, what was he? He was clearly no ordinary vampire.
No, he was a Volcod. All muscles and instinct. Quite the rare breed. Ferociously territorial. Mortals often mistake them for werewolves.
Wissen, dass ich ihn getötet habe.
You do know I killed him.
Yes.
Will you bear ill will towards me for his death?
Of course not. Your victory was quite impressive and courageous. You earned my respect.
Skulls stehen mit der Epidemie in Verbindung.
Yes, I'm convinced the recent invasion of frenzied skulls in London is directly linked to the epidemic. This is not the Spanish flu, but something else.
I would be glad to hear more of your discoveries, Dr. Reed, but for now, my main concern is the security of London's inhabitants, both mortal and immortal.
What do you mean?
Alarmed by the epidemic, the Guard of Prewen has started a war against us British vampires. To appease the situation, we must eradicate the Skulls.
Skulls sind bösartig, einige Skulls sind friedlich, Skulls sind Opfer.
Skulls are hostile vectors of contagion, that is a fact. But first and foremost, they are victims.
I agree, Dr. Reed. Most of the new Skulls who roam the streets at night used to be good British citizens, but they must be put down nevertheless.
So, what do you want me to do?
I want you to investigate the city thoroughly. I have reason to fear there are cases of contagion in this part of town. Our absolute priority is to find and cleanse them.
And how would you like me to proceed?
By all means necessary, Dr. Reed. You are now a member of the Ascalon Club and you have carte blanche. Interrogate the locals, follow all the leads you find, and get results.
Von Höhe. Können neue Bürger getötet werden. Familienporträts. Für die Infektionsquellen im Westend.
Some horned vampire revealing himself and singing obscure songs around the city. What is this new malevolence?
How is your investigation going, Dr. Reed? Time is our enemy.
I have a few questions for your lordship.
All right, but be quick.
Über William Marshall.
You made me swear on the blood of William Marshall during my initiation ceremony. Why was that?
William Marshall was the most glorious knight who ever lived. He served 5 kings and was a living example of probity for all. And he was my maker.
War ein Vampir?
William Marshall was a vampire. Is this some sort of joke? Wait. Could he be my maker?
That would be joyful news, for it would mean he still walks among us. But alas, the great knight has left this world for good.
Warum ist sein Blut heilig?
Why is his blood so sacred to the Ascalon Club?
He was simply the greatest defender of the realm we have ever known. I fought by his side at the Battle of Preston, and he made me his progeny following the fight.
Über die große Jagd.
What can you tell me about the Great Hunt?
It's a major concern, and I'm convinced we'll only get a satisfactory conclusion by putting an end to the epidemic.
McCallum wird nicht aufhören.
I have already met Jeffrey McCullum. I am certain he will persist until he has killed every last vampire.
The Guard's current successful recruitment campaign is driven by the ravenous behavior of the Skulls.
I see. So without the epidemic creating Skulls, the Guard could not convince anybody of our presence.
Exactly. Once we have put the epidemic behind us, we need only wait until the Guard grows old and weak. Time will once again become our ally.
Risiko eines Angriffs.
What about the risk of a full-scale attack here? Jeffrey McCullum is a daring leader.
That is exactly why so many of our number have left the country until things improve. But not me. I founded this club. I'll die defending it.
Über Aloysius Dawson.
May I ask you about the mortal who attended my initiation? Mr. Aloysius Dawson.
A member of the club does not normally ask questions about other members. We trust each other mutually.
Ist er wirklich ein Mitglied?
So he really is a member then?
Indeed. Only the most eminent members are allowed to attend such ceremonies. Even if I admit some of us fled during the first hours of the Great Hunt.
Aber er ist ein Sterblicher.
But Mr. Dawson is mortal. Are you not afraid he might reveal who you are? Especially to your enemies.
Aloysius Dawson is a man of his word, as are all of us. This is the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. We do not grant access to the unworthy.
I was chased by a gigantic falcon 2 nights.
Goodbye, Lord Redgrave.
Godspeed, Dr. Reed. We are counting on you.
That creature barely spoke English.
Versuche den Bürger auf der Infektion. Ich hätte immer noch gerne das Schwert, aber hey.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reed.
Wo ist denn der Keller von denen? Die haben noch extra Schlüssel gekriegt. Ich will zum Keller. Ach, da ist er. Die so einen Keller haben. Neues Sommerbeck zum gelegentlichen Privatkonsum von Blut. Als Mitglieder des Ascalon Clubs beachten wir immer die Etikette. Wir verkehren in jeglicher Hinsicht in den besten Kreisen der Gesellschaft und sind anerkannte Persönlichkeiten des öffentlichen Lebens. Anders als unsere Gegner behaupten, frönen wir keine Orgien oder Blutbädern. Würde aber einer der unseren bei solchen absurden und unmoralischen Akten ertappt, träfe ihn die angemessene Schmach. Doch was ist mit dem Blut? Was ist mit gelegentlichem Privatkonsum? Wie können wir die Ekstase ablehnen, die uns das zinnoberrote Ambrosia bietet? Womit sollen wir anstoßen, wie es doch in jeder guten Bruderschaft Brauch ist? Die Regeln für den Umgang innerhalb des Clubs besagen zu dieser delikaten Frage das Folgende: Solange das ursprüngliche sterbliche Gefäß nicht in die Mauern des Clubs gebracht wird, dürfen Mitglieder trinken und mit Freunden teilen, was ihnen beliebt. Trinken sie, was sie wollen, und verfahren sie mit dem Gefäß, wie es ihnen beliebt. Nur tun sie es außerhalb des Clubs. Ausnahmen bilden natürlich besondere Anlässe, die ich persönlich autorisiert habe. Aus die Gesetze von Ascalon von Lord Redgrave Gründer. Hier gab es unten nur ein Sammelobjekt. Sonst gar nichts. Ja, jetzt nicht so viel. Na gut, dann gehen wir da raus hier.
I think Lord Redgrave just suggested I was sired by an ancient vampire.
To vote is only the first step.
Frage Anwohner nach möglichen Infektionsquellen im Westend.
Good evening, Miss Ashbury.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed.
Über lokale Ursachen der Epidemie.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
A few days ago, I spotted a strange house while campaigning for women's suffrage. Awful smell. No answer when I knocked.
Where is it?
It's the Mullaneys, a nice family who live in a big house near the park in the eastern part of this neighborhood.
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Gib dich zum ersten Infektionsherd.
Have you noticed anything suspicious?
Please, sir. Whether you need to buy something or not, I am happy to help. Good evening, Dr.
Über lokale Ursachen der Epidemie.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
Not really. Wait, now that you mention it, I don't see the McPhersons in my favorite restaurants. They love delicate meals too, you understand?
Thank you. It may be nothing, but I'll investigate anyway. Where do they live?
They have a house in the southern part of the district, somewhere north of the railway bridge. There is a courtyard, if I remember rightly.
Goodbye, Mr. Russell.
Oh, warte mal, hat er noch Teile?
I may...
Ja, hat er. Ein kleiner Teil, warte mal, Teil eines guten Griffs, das brauchen wir. Baue ich mal direkt ab von dem. Wie ist denn das zweite und erste Infektionsherd? Also haben wir schon rausgefunden, nice. Da und hier. Wie können wir die finden? Muss doch auch da irgendwie eigentlich sein. Ich raff das nicht. Oder wohnt die hier drin, wo wir gar nicht reinkommen noch nicht? Wir müssen durch Whitechapel durch, dann hier oben rein. Und die Tür ist zu.
Why are vampire hunters sniffing around here? I need to find out what they're after.
On back to the shadows!
Spratz. Da ist der Priester geplatzt wie so ein Pinata. So hört sich das halt auch. Schon wieder Timer. Immer wenn ich am Kämpfen bin, Mann. Ach, ich konnte nicht. Der Timer hat mich betrayed. Timer, ich brauche echt so eine Fernsteuerung für den Timer.